It's just slop. Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Where did it go? Oh, it all just landed in my sieve. Which is great, it means I don't need to tidy up. See, I've learnt my lesson from the previous 2 years. And I think it's safe to say that 2020 has been a pretty crappy year for the majority of us because of the global pandemic. It's been pretty awful, hasn't it? So when it comes to New Year's, we always think about cutting things out. Maybe we're going to go on a diet, we're going to do some more exercising, something like that. And you know what? I don't want any of that. I want to start 2021 off by being just incredibly indulgent. So that's why I'm going to be making some gluten-free cake pops, or attempting to make some gluten-free cake pops. I don't know how this is going to go. Oh no, it's getting worse. And the reason I'm making gluten-free cake pops is because I'm intolerant to gluten. And if you saw a video a couple of videos ago, I touched on that briefly. So today I thought I would, treat myself. Okay, so I have done a little bit of research on what cake pops are and how to make them. And they're basically just buttercream and cake. And obviously I want my gluten-free cake pops to actually taste good, which is why I'm using pre-bought cakes for all of this, because if I made my cakes from scratch, they would just be unedible. But I have got a variety of different ones, and I'm going to be a little bit experimental with the decoration, so hopefully that'll be enough to justify making this video about cake pops. I am going to make my buttercream from scratch though, because that seems pretty easy. I don't think I can possibly screw that up. For buttercream, it's just butter and icing sugar. Because I want to make a big batch of buttercream for all of these cake pops, and then I can just take a little bit out and flavour it and do things with it for each different one that I'm going to end up making. I'll put both in, why not? I know bacon's a science and you're supposed to measure things very accurately, but it's just not my style. Okay, so now I'm just going to sift an undetermined amount of icing sugar into here. I don't want it too dry, I don't want it too wet. We'll see how this goes, and then if I need more, then I can just add more, can't I? I'll just use my fork just to kind of help it along a little bit, otherwise it's going to go everywhere. Oh, it's gone everywhere already. And now I think I can mix, I hope. A bit of butter flicked out and I don't know where it went. It went flying. I don't know, it'll appear at some point. It's nice though. It needs my icing sugar. What a fun little day, baking with hand. I'm also just the messiest baker in the world. I've just started and I've got shit everywhere. Yeah, let's try that. What's buttercream supposed to taste like? I don't even know what I'm aiming for. It tastes like butter. Does it need to be more sweet? I'll add a little bit more icing sugar, why not? Oh, I'll just put the whole bag in. I may as well. Tap, 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 tap. That's nice. Smooth, lovely. Tastes great. I could just sit here and eat a bowl of that. I'm gonna have a little tidy up because I've got butter all over my floor, and then we'll move on to the cake pops. But at least we've got a good base, we've got a good starting point. Okay, so the first cake pop I wanted to make was an orange flavoured one. Unfortunately, because I'm gluten-free, there's just not enough variety at the shops when it comes to people who have food intolerances or allergies. So the closest thing I could get was a lemon loaf cake, but that's fine. I do like lemon cake. I'm just gonna have a little taste, see what it's like. It's alright for a gluten-free cake. It's not as good as a normal cake, which is the running theme with gluten-free, by the way. So I just want to take a good chunk of this lemon cake out and put it in there. And then I want a good dollop of buttercream. And then you just kind of like mash it up. And that's going to be basically your base of your cake pop. And the thing is, you don't want it too runny, but you also don't want it too dry. I think that'll be enough for about 3, won't it? I think that's about the right consistency. But because I want it a little bit more orangey, I'm gonna add a Valencian orange. I've butchered that, I know I have, okay. Bit of fruit extract. It smells quite strong, so I don't want too much. That'll do. A little bit more. Nah, that's enough. Because I've seen on Nailed It when they get too carried away with things like that and they taste awful.
No, really?
I'm so sorry. I was gonna be nice.
So this is basically going to be a lemon and orange flavoured cake pop. Okay, I think that's looking good. Let's just have a little try. Oh, that tastes good. Tastes so good. But I'm not done there because there's a couple more steps and obviously decoration and stuff, and obviously I need to make the cake pop. Okay, so now we need something to rest our cake pops on, so I'm going to use this little polystyrene block. And apparently if you dip this, your lollipop stick, into some buttercream first, it just helps the cake to stick on, I think. And then we just, oh no, I think this mixture is too soft. Didn't seem that soft. This is far too soft, I know it is. That's not going to keep its shape at all. I'm going to add more cake. I'm going to add the whole thing because it's just going to slip down. It's going to turn to mush, I know it is. I didn't realise how oily and how soft it was just by using the fork. Maybe I got carried away with the buttercream. Let's feel this consistency. Oh man, it still feels really... How the hell do you make cake pops? Maybe if I just make them smaller. If I put that on a stick, it's just not gonna stay. I'm sure I've done everything right. Yeah, see, make homemade cake, make homemade frosting, crumble cake into homemade frosting, mix, roll into balls. Maybe they are supposed to be really soft, you just have to be very quick, because obviously I'm gonna cover them in chocolate, but they just droop. I've done everything right, but apparently, I think where I'm having the issues is because my mixture isn't cold, and if it's cold, it's easier to kind of do stuff with, but I don't have the time to keep going down into the fridge and putting it in the fridge and getting it back out. It's going to take forever. So what I think I'm going to do is roll these into some sort of ball and get my chocolate ready, and then as soon as it's on the stick, just dip it straight into the chocolate, and that should be alright. So I need to prepare my chocolate. If this is going to work out, it's going to be fine. This is the new year. Everything needs to go well. Okay, so I have my little heater here and a pan, which you can't see because it's not in frame. Oh, there we go. Now you can see. Okay, and obviously because I want these to be orange cake pops, I'm obviously going to be covering them in Terry's Chocolate Orange. The best chocolate on planet Earth. Dump that all in there. Oh. If anything, if these don't work and it doesn't look great, at least we know it's going to taste just fantastic. The thing is, if I've learned anything from Bake Off and Nailed It, is that the taste is always the most important part. The look's very important too. But if it doesn't taste great, then just what's the point, you know? So I think mine are going to look hideous, but are just going to be delightful on the inside. Gotta wait for this chocolate to heat up. I also had some very elaborate plans for decoration for these cake pops, but I think I'm going to have to compromise. We'll see, we'll see. And if you're a professional baker out there, or you just understand baking a lot more than I do, then just don't slag us off, please, okay? Some people struggle at things like this. I've just thought though, I think my pan's a bit too big. It's going to be too shallow to dip them in. I planned this, you know, I planned everything out, and you wouldn't think I did. This is going to rescue whatever my cake pops are going to look like. Okay, so I've got all my chocolate melted here. You probably can't see it very well. It's looking great. So I need to be quick and kind of just try and shape one of these into a ball the best I can, and then just dip. This isn't gonna work. It is so soft. Right, just dip, just dip, just dip. Oh, I can't. I need more hands. No, I've lost it. I've lost it in the mixture. Maybe if we roll it around in the it's just disintegrating. It is just disintegrating. What's happening? Oh no. Oh no, it's getting worse. How the hell do I rescue this? It's just slop. We'll just wait until the chocolate sets and then... I'm very disappointed in myself. I hate myself. Why? I bought so many decorations and so many different things for this to work. What I'm gonna do, because I do want to have some cake pops, I am gonna have cake pops by the end of this. I'm gonna clean everything up. I'm gonna start my batter again. I think I'm gonna just put cake and I'm not going to put any buttercream in because I think the buttercream's over. I think that's the mistake I made. So let me clean up and I'm going to start this entire thing again. Okay, take 2 of these cake pops. I think I've learned a couple of things from the last time round. My mixture was definitely a little bit too soft, a little bit too oily, and that was just preventing me from making a cake pop. So, I've got carrot cake, which is one of my favourite cakes. I love carrot cake. And it's already got some buttercream, ice and stuff on the top, so I don't think I'm going to add any of mine that I made. Just to begin with, just to see if that actually does anything. Let's just have a little try, just to see what it's like. I'll be very critical with carrot cake. It's alright, it's a bit dry. I can tell it's gluten-free because it was overpriced and tastes like shit, which is a reoccurring theme when you buy gluten-free food. That's why I'm so angry all the time, because I haven't had a decent pizza in so long. Alright, I'm just gonna plop you straight in, to mash you up. Well, the good thing about this cake is because it's dry, hopefully that will help it a little bit and it'll be a bit more bindable. My goal for this video to begin with was to make a collection of well decorated, well presented, tasty cake pops, and now my goal has changed to just making one cake pop that stands. Let me just see if this is moldable or whether I need to do anything with it. Why are cakes so oily for? The thing is, this is like, even just as a cake on its own, it just crumbles off. How do cake pops defy gravity and stay on the stick? I don't know. The thing is, I'm like, do I add any buttercream or will that be a bad decision? I might add a little tiny bit, that much. Did I make my buttercream wrong? Was it, maybe my buttercream was too buttery and not enough ice and sugar? Thing is, I can't even roll it because it just disintegrates in my hand. Maybe it's if I just keep compacting it. I'm getting so angry with myself. I spent a fortune on cake supplies. Will this even, like, will it just be a little bit better? It's not though, it's not. I think bakers would say, oh, add more flour to the mixture so it's drier, so it's easier to put together. But I didn't buy any gluten-free flour because I didn't think I would need any, because I was just using pre-bought cakes. I just don't know what to do. But maybe if I like compact it like that and just do big cake pops, maybe I'm trying to make them too small. Like that's kind of a ball. I might try and roll that in chocolate, let the chocolate set, and then shove a stick in it. Now I need to melt some more chocolate, but I need to wash my hands because they're filthy. Well, Abel has joined because he could smell the cake, but it's not going well, Abe. It's not going well at all. I've made that, and that's going to be my cake pop. Does it smell alright? You can't eat it. You can't have it. Don't know whether you're allowed carrot cake. You have that crumb. I don't think you'll like it. It's gluten-free, it's horrible. You're so cute. You've made me feel better. You're not having any cake because you're too fat. Go on, out. I think for this cake pop, I'm going to use some roasted hazelnut because I think that'll go well with the carrot cake. Oh, it's dark chocolate. That's even better actually because it's stronger. Also, let me know down in the comments if you have any intolerances or you're allergic to any foods. Like before I realised I was intolerant to gluten, I used to always have Cheerios for my breakfast. And they don't sell gluten-free Cheerios, but Tesco has their own brand of like gluten-free, wheat-free Cheerio things, and they're dairy-free as well. And they taste like cheese. They are absolutely vile. So I don't eat them anymore. It's completely changed my diet being gluten-free. I also don't know whether you've tried gluten-free wraps, but they're like rubber. They're awful. The only thing I don't mind is Tesco sells this kind of gluten-free seeded bread, and it's actually quite nice, it's not bad. Gluten-free pizzas on the other hand, absolute trash. But my heart does go out to anyone who has intolerances or allergies to food, because it is quite difficult. Okay, that's melted. Also, there's nuts in that. So, hopefully that'll add a little bit of strength as well. So I just need to carefully put my ball in here. Very carefully cover it in chocolate. Definitely stronger than the last thing I made, but it's still, oh, it's cracking. Oh, it just broke. Please, please, I need something. Okay, that's fully covered. Scoop. In fact, I'm just gonna put it there. And I'm gonna let the chocolate set. I'm gonna put a stick in while it's like that, just as the chocolate's melting. And then we just leave it like that and hope the chocolate just kind of sucks it together. Well, I'll see you in a bit. We'll see how this turns out once it's cooled down. Well, it's a little while later, and unfortunately, I don't think this is gonna work. The cake's just really soft inside. I know as soon as I pull this off, it's just gonna fall apart. I just wanna try and pick it up so I can decorate it. It's just, I need the fork. I don't even know what to say. It couldn't have gone much worse, could it really? The thing is, I started this video with every intention to get some decent cake pops, and I've seen other people, even on Nailed It, make cake pops and they look pretty decent. They stand on the stick.
Let's remember the chocolate hatching egg you were trying to make, and let's see what you made. Nailed it!
I've done something wrong. Something has happened which shouldn't be happening. I don't know what I've done wrong though. I'm gonna taste it anyway just to see if it tastes nice. Tastes okay. No, it doesn't actually. It's really dry. Really dry. And I have had a couple of comments recently on some of my other videos about I kind of fail intentionally and I do these things on purpose because it's funny and it's entertaining. And it is funny and it's entertaining, not for me, but for people watching. But I do not do it intentionally. This is actually me trying. Weird thing to admit to, that it's me trying to do something properly and it just not working. But the thing is, that's reality of life. Not everything goes to plan. And I like for people out there who aren't necessarily good at things like this to know that there are other people out there who really aren't good at things like this. But if you know what I've done wrong, then let me know in the comments. But don't be hateful and don't slag us off and don't be snarky about it, because some people are. And I'll be snarky back. I don't mind being snarky back. But if you have any constructive criticism, then let me know. And then at least I know next time, if I do ever decide to make cake pops, I've got a better chance. But if you did enjoy today's video, even though it definitely didn't go to plan, then make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are incredibly frustrated with us because I just completely everything up, then you're more than welcome to give it a thumbs down. But anyway, I'm gonna go and sulk. So I'll see you next week for hopefully a more successful video. Bye!